Yama was born in an ordinary life, with no background, just simply living in the countryside. Upon growing up, she struggled in terms of money, but she was happy. Being the eldest, it was her responsibility to help her parents raise their family. She dreamt of giving them a better life someday. But one unexpected event changed her life. It shook her principles, upbringing, and her faith in righteousness. Rox, on the other hand, lives exactly the opposite of Yama. He owns businesses that give him the pleasure of living comfortably. He can have anything he wants with just a snap of his finger. He was surrounded by luxury, fame, and power. Despite all that, he isn't happy. He feels empty and alone. Let's unravel the story of two people living in different worlds and a guy who will do everything to get the woman he wants, even if it means using his power and money to get her. Chapter 1. I Owned You. Yama looked at the man before her, wondering why someone like him was in her home. What do you need? Why are you here in my house? Yama asked in a curious and surprised look. Her brows were frowning. Her voice did not show any sign of respect. She lost respect for this man since the day she knew his intention towards her. Rox looked at her straightly with a dark expression, but there was a hint of smirk in the side. Yama didn't like the way he stared at her. She felt disrespected. She gazed at him with the same intensity, intending to let this man know that despite his status, she was not afraid of him. Rox's aura shows power and wealth. He looks young for his age, has a body to die for, a good physique with elegant style, and is very handsome. Despite all that, it doesn't flatter her because she is committed already. I owned you. Your husband sold you to me. Rox said it in a deep voice as if it was a normal thing to say. She couldn't help but feel angry at the man before her. She was broken and her heart was full of rebellion. Who are you to tell me that? No one has the right to sell or buy me. No one owns me. Yama's angry response to the man. Even though she was a poor woman, she didn't want to show her weakness. She saw the little grin on the man's cheek as if he was mocking and challenging her. It is an action she didn't like. You were sold by your husband. Talk to him. He came to me, and I just gave in. He said it with no emotion, leaving me speechless. Yama was still shocked and couldn't believe what she just heard. Rox left with his bodyguards like he owns the place. How did John do this to me? I'm his wife. He loves me. How could he betray me to the enemy? Yama feels confused. I had to wait for John to find out the truth and what happened. Yama remembered John had a lot of money in the past days. Is Rox telling her the truth? The kind of him wouldn't step in this place unless it's important. We lived in a squatter area, full of rubbish, noisy, messy, and dangerous. He seemed serious and not just bluffing. After a few minutes, John came and it seemed he had a drink. John, let's talk. A man came here earlier and said something to me. Yama said in a low voice. She knew it was not the right time to discuss these things given John's current situation, but Yama couldn't wait to find the truth. Really? That old man can't wait, huh? John said it with a mixture of anger and resentment towards the guy. His tone proved something. Is it true that he said, you sold me to him? By this time, Yama can't help but raise her voice in anger. John turned to Yama, holding her hand with a pleading look. From his actions, Yama already senses the truth. Yama, listen to me. We have been in this place for a long time now, and still, nothing has happened in our lives. We are still trapped in this terrible place. We haven't achieved what we were aiming for, and the reasons why we came to this place. Yama doesn't understand where this conversation going, but she still hears his sides. You know that my dad is in the hospital right now. He needs medical attention, and has currently undergone an operation. Your parents need our help also. I don't have any other way for us to escape the situation we are in, but to seek Mr. Wilford's help. Yama can't help but furrow her brows upon hearing John's statement. Yes, we both dream of having a good life, that's why we're working hard, right? But why did it turn out this way? How did we end up like this, John? This is not part of our plan. Yama didn't give him any reason to pursue his agenda, because no matter how hard we try, no matter how hard we stand and kill ourselves working, we will never rise as what we expected. We will remain like this. And if it happens, it will take years for us to achieve what we dream of. Or maybe never. John said it in a loud voice, looking frustrated. Remember, Yama, We don't have good education to compete with others. We don't have enough skills for us to land a good job. We are still adapting to city life we aren't used to. And we will remain as poor as we are now if we don't change our ways. Yama understood what John meant. They had been here longer and doing different odd jobs just to survive, but still not enough. They were covered with debt and had almost nothing to eat because what they had earned wasn't enough to support John's family. And if, by taking Mr. Wilford's offer, is the only chance for us to succeed and change our life, then we will take this opportunity. This chance will not come often, so we must grab it. John says it with finality and firmness. He seemed decided on his plans. Yama, Mr. Wilford offered us a good amount of money because he likes you. I saw how he looked at you. I know the feeling, because I am a man too. I approached him and asked if he liked you. He never even denied it. He is willing to give us anything we want in exchange of having you for a short period. What we can get from him is enough for us to start over. Yama is left dumbfounded by John's words. She can't believe what she just heard. Shocking is an understatement. Is this the man he falls in love with? The man he has known since childhood, her best friend, and now her husband? Yama looks at him strangely. John faced and swayed her again. Yama, it only means that we will no longer suffer. We can live comfortably and have our own business that we dream of. We will leave this place and start over with our life. Yama can't help but feel disgusted with what she hears from John. John, have you heard yourself? I am your wife, and you want me to cheat on you? Share me with some other guy? You want me to commit a sin in our marriage and vow? Yama can't help to voice out her frustration. She feels insulted and disrespected by what she just heard, and to think it's coming from her husband. No, you didn't commit a mistake because you have my permission. I am well aware of the situation. Yama, in today's age, a lot of married women do this. Some women are dating other guys outside of marriage, and some sell their bodies in exchange for money and luxury. My friend says his wife also does the same. They even do some explicit scenes and publish them on adult sites for money. And they are okay with it. With us, it's only for one-time thing, Yama. Just to get by with our immediate needs. John looks like a devil in Yama's eyes while busy convincing her. Rox is willing to give us a large amount of money just to have you. He promised that it would be a one-time thing or a short period. He will be discreet and won't bother us after the contract. John, I can't do it. I have respect for myself and for our marriage. I can't sell my dignity. You know my principle. Even just by thinking of it pukes me. Maybe we have another way, but not this, John, please. I can't do it. Yama says it in a pleading expression. We can't back down now, Yama. I already gave my words to Rox. I got his money already. John uttered it slowly. What do you mean? You do it without even informing me? How could you? Yama voices it out hysterically. She now understands why John is very persuasive in her, because he has the money already. Yama, I don't have a choice. We are in dire need. Where do you think I got the money I sent to my parents because Dad needed an operation the other day? And where do you think I got the money for our groceries because we don't have anything to eat? Where do I get the money I paid for our rent, because if not, we will be out here and nowhere to go? I had no choice, Yama, but to accept Rox's offer. He is the one who can help us. Yama is speechless. She was deeply rooted in the place where she stood. Her legs are shaking, her hands are trembling from different emotions that overwhelm her. I felt like a prostitute and had no value, and the worst part is, it's my husband you sold me. I feel sorry for myself. Yama cried in agony. Chapter 2. No choice. Give me a year to show you my true intention, and if you still choose him within that year or after our contract ends, I will return you to him. Expect me not to bother you or charge him for what he owes me. Rox calmly promised Yama. I only ask for one thing. Can we pretend that we love each other in the entire of our contract? That we will act as true lovers in front of everyone and to ourselves. Rox directly said to Yama, leaving her speechless. In Yama's mind, it is not hard to do if it's not her dignity at stake, but she had a principle that she lived by. What money is for if she loses herself in the end? If she can't value herself, who else will respect her? She has nothing to offer but her intact morality and dignity. At least she is proud of herself, and if that one is gone, what else she has? What this man offers a sin, a big mistake, and she is not willing to trade herself for money. She looks at him straightly with a pleading expression on her face. This time she is willing to lower herself. In what way can I repay you without involving myself with you? Me without committing a sin. Yama tried to negotiate with Rox. Maybe there was a way. Maybe he can understand her and would agree to her request. Nothing. That's all I ask from you. Nothing can change my mind. Rox said it without hesitation. He then looks at her deeply. I can give you whatever you want, all you desire in life in ways you never imagined, in exchange of that 1-year contract. Yama saw how serious he was. There's no hint of playing around. He is known for being ruthless in business. Why are you doing this? Why me? What can you gain out of this? I have nothing to offer. I'm just a simple woman, with no background, with average look, and no accomplishment. The kind of you deserves someone who can be your equal. Someone who is rich, famous, and has capabilities. In short, someone you can be proud of. Yama tried to persuade Rox to change his mind by pointing out the reality. I have my reasons why I choose you. I have my reasons why I'm offering this to you. You are right, I can get any woman in just a snap of my fingers. But it's you that I want at the moment. I have seen something in you that I haven't seen in other women. Don't ever downgrade yourself. Haven't you know your value? Yama can't help to laugh at Rox's words, at the same time feels irritated and insulted. How can I see it, when just by now I feel like a trash, handed down to another man and sold by my own husband? How can I see it, if someone like you treated me like some item dispensable at their whims? Yama utters those words full of disgust and hatred, at the same time hurt. How can this man not see her agony, her pain, and her struggle? She feels like crying but holds herself. You will find my reasons soon, but my decision is final. All I can say is that you will never regret it if you voluntarily choose me and accept what I offer to you. Think it hard. It's either we will go easy or in hard way. Remember, I can make the impossible thing possible. And my words are a law in this place. Yama wasn't surprised by what she heard from Rox. It's given already with his status. Rox walks back to his car in an arrogant manner like he owns the place. Never cared that everyone was looking at him, waiting to pay a glance. That's his effect on anyone around. But Yama couldn't even appreciate him. How can she when he is the reason why she is in misery? He never gave her a chance to choose. Yama can't help but remember why she is in this situation now. One morning she woke up receiving a letter from the court, stating that Rox filed a case of swindling and estafa. That's the time Yama knew that John had gotten another amount from Rox, summing up to $50,000. The supposed money for their startup plan was gone like a dust. The court urges them to counterpart the case. The question is, where would they get money for lawyers' fees, when even food they hardly afford? Where would they get money to pay for the debt, if they will pay for it? Her mind went upside down thinking about how to solve the problem. John said the only way is to accept the offer from Rox, cause they don't have a choice anymore, unless they want to be in prison. Yama asks John where the money goes. John replied he lost it in the casino, thinking he could make the money doubled for him to pay Rox, but he failed and lost everything. Upon hearing John's response, Yama felt betrayed and defeated. John, haven't you thought of me? Have you realized what will happen to me if Mr. Wilford gets me? She said it in a crying voice. Tears are slowly falling from her beautiful face. You don't even include me in your plans? Where am I in this equation? I am your wife. We vowed to be together in all our plans. You didn't give me a chance to fight for myself. Yama shouted and cried hard. She doesn't care anymore how she looks. All she knows is that the man in front of her is not her husband, the one she falls in love with. Because the John she knows is sensible, who thinks ahead, and loves her deeply. Yama, I swear, it's you that I'm thinking of why I wanted to win that time. I love you and can't bear losing you with another man, but things didn't go by my side. I am a failure and I fail you over and over again. Says John while sobbing as well. They both cried at that moment. Yama never felt losing a battle in her entire life, even though she grows up in hard way. She's always optimistic and bears a positive aura. But at this moment she felt her world collapse because she knew she was about to lose herself and would commit an immoral act. If they can't pay or wouldn't agree to Rox's terms, they will both end up in prison. She can't go to prison, 'cause how can she fulfill what she promised her family? She is their only hope. She has a younger sibling to support with. If her name is tainted, how can she apply for work in the future? Yama had been crying, feeling miserable since the day she knew she would end up with Mr. Wilford. She had no chance of turning the situation around. Yama valued her marriage and the sanctity of her vow, but the situation gave her no option but to accept her fate. She is busy packing her things because Rox has come to take her to his place. John keeps looking at her intently, observing her in every move. Yama, don't worry. You will not stay longer in his place. Soon I will get the money we owe to him and I will get you back. She smirked at what she heard from John, who kept bluffing in her side. She could sense his fear and anxiety from his actions and words. But she didn't care anymore. How many times had she heard his promises, but none of them came true? She had enough. Maybe fate led her to this path, for her to wake up that the man she married wasn't there anymore. He had changed because of his vices, temptation from outside, his lofty dreams, and love for money. They are now taking a different path. After a few minutes passed, Rox came to her side, checking if she had everything packed. Are you done? Let's go. Rox utters like he owns the place, without minding that John is just there looking at them. Yama nods at Rox. There is nothing to bring really, only the important things as per instructions of Rox. He said he got everything ready for her at his house. Wait, I want to talk to both of you before we go. The two guys stopped and were curious about what Yama had to say. Rox signals his bodyguards to get her things and leave them for privacy. John, how much money you have taken from Rox, exactly? I deserve to know because I am the one you pawned to him. I'm the one serving as payment for it. John can't look at Yama in the eye. $500 in total. He said it lowly, feeling ashamed and looking down at the floor. Yama was shocked upon hearing the amount. How did he spend that big amount in just a short period? All I know is he got $50,000 in total is what he declared to me last time. Yama shook her head again. John lied to her again. Wow, that's all my value to you. The value of what we had. Yama laughs mockingly at him, but feeling hurt deep inside. You know that I never agreed to your plan. I even begged you not to do it, but you never listened to me. You didn't care about my feelings, didn't respect my whole being, even me being your wife. You throw away all the things we had, just like that. Yama can't help but shed tears at the thought. How funny things turn out this way. You may be my husband, but you don't have a right to sell me to someone. I am the owner of myself. I have my own decisions, my mind, and my ways. It's my own decision how I live my life. But since you decided to take this route, then I guess this is where things end between us. I am officially breaking up with you, John. You are no longer my husband. Yama turns to Rox, but his face still shows no emotions. Mr. Wilford, can you give me another $500,000 in addition to John? At least by this way, I'm not looking so cheap the way John thinks of me. Rox nods as a sign of agreeing to Yama. With the money you will receive, breaks my ties with you. I no longer want to see you in my life, nor want to hear anything from you. Since you sold me to him, he now becomes my new husband. I can't have two husbands, can I? Yama gives a mocking look to John, but deep inside, she is shaking and hurting. But don't want to let John know her emotion. She could sense John wanted to rebut, but no words came out of his mouth. Goodbye, John. I hope you will find happiness in the money you got. Don't ever contact me again. Everything between us is done. Yama walks away without looking back. Upon reaching outside, neighbors are busy looking at them, curious of what is happening. But she didn't care about them. She has a lot going on in her mind. This is my last time to step into this place, she told herself. From this day onward, I will forget everything that happened in this place. The car slowly moved away from the place Yama used to call home. She knew a few people there, but none of them she could call her friends. But still, she felt hollow in her heart. She has lived there for 3 years, and that place witnesses her struggles, pain, and hard work. Yama looks at Rox, who is quiet and remains expressionless in her side. This man is the reason for my pain. He is no different from other men, who only look after themselves. Do not care if they hurt someone, just to get what they want. She should not trust him. Beginning today, I am on my own, with no one to depend on except for myself, so I need to be strong. I will not let anyone step on me again. She vows for herself. After an hour, they reach their destination. The car drives inside the metal gate and then reveals the huge house. She hasn't seen this kind of structure yet in her entire life. The front yard is wide with a big fountain in the center. She was tired with looking around and forgot that Rox was not on her side. Then the car door opened, revealing Rox's hand, as if signaling her to take his hand with her. And she did. He holds her firmly. She saw the maids lining up in front of the doorway welcoming them. Welcome home. Treat this place as yours. Don't be shy. Everything and everyone here is ready at your disposal. Just tell them what you want, and they will give it to you. Everything is still hazy to Yama. Never did she imagine she would come to this kind of place. The way everyone behaved, she felt like the boss, and some were willing to serve her. Rest first, we'll have dinner later, then we'll talk everything after. She nods. Just go with the flow. Someone escort her towards her room. If she was mesmerized by the view outside, so was her room. She never has this kind of room. It was big, spacious, and everything inside screams of luxury. But why does she feel empty?